Good evening, everyone. This is ThatCrypto at that channel, and I'm Denis Serebryakov, and here's Avet Hachian.
Hey guys.
Thanks for coming. Today we're going to be talking about the ways how you can buy Bitcoin and with privacy and security in mind, like what you need to look at when you're buying Bitcoin, basically. Okay, let's go. Yeah, if you have a question, just please come up to the microphone so that everyone can hear. So first of all, I just wanted to kind of take a look at the reason why would anyone wanted to buy Bitcoin. I found like 4. So first of all, it's like shopping. Sometimes you can pay with Bitcoin, you can buy stuff with Bitcoin, usually online. Remittances is when you want to send money across borders. Trading is when you trade crypto on different exchanges. And investment. Investment in this particular case is just a long-term Bitcoin storage. So you buy Bitcoin and you kind of wait until it goes up in value. So let's take a look at all of them. So as we discussed like in previous meetups, Bitcoin is an appreciating asset and like appreciating money. So you don't really want to be that Bitcoin pizza guy who paid like 10,000 Bitcoins for 2 pizzas. So you really need to have good reasons to spend Bitcoins to buy stuff online or offline for that reason. So, and the reason can be, so Bitcoin probably the only payment option that you have.
Provided by vendor.
Yeah, so yeah, and I'll go in like in small detail. For example, so black markets, most of them, they accept Bitcoin. So obviously they don't accept credit cards and fiat, that's because they sell illegal stuff. So this Bitcoin probably the only option, maybe some other cryptos, but actually most of the black market online, they accept like 90-95% they accept Bitcoin, even though Bitcoin is not anonymous, it's easy to track, but because of the liquidity, most of the transactions are done in Bitcoin. So yeah, in some legal industries, not every industry is served by banking or the credit card. Like there's some parapharmaceuticals, they're called, some kind of supplements. Kratom, for example, it's if you're trying to sell anything with.
Yeah, but let's make the point clear. It's not illegal. It's just based on the country you right now settled. It's not available in that country to pay with current currency.
And it's
simply nothing more.
Or for example, credit card companies or banks, they might consider this particular business as high risk, even though it's completely legal, like marijuana, for example.
It is legal. We are in
Canada.
Absolutely legal.
I'm not sure about right now. I know like a couple of years ago when it was like in gray zone, so it was impossible for people to open bank accounts, so everything was cash. In the United States, it's legal in several states. However, on the federal level, it's still illegal, so banks don't really want to deal with marijuana companies, even though it's completely legal in certain states. So that's why you might want to use Bitcoin. So like, I'm not sure about vaping right now, but like I checked a couple of, maybe a year ago, vaping was, it was impossible to pay for vapes with credit cards. So, and adult entertainment. Those guys, they're legal, but the credit card fees are like up to 30%. And another option, or like why you want to use Bitcoin as a privacy tools. Edward Snowden paid for hosting with Bitcoin, so he didn't want to disclose his name. That's obviously one. And VPNs, they are designed to keep you private, and so you don't really want to connect your name to a VPN service that you're buying. So some of them, they accept Bitcoin. So in this particular case, basically you don't really want to hold Bitcoin for a long time. So if the Bitcoin is just a payment vehicle for you, and because of Bitcoin is volatile, you just want to buy a certain amount of Bitcoins that you want to spend and spend it right away in this particular case. So how you can do it, ATMs are, and obviously, well, since we're discussing all this kind of stuff, privacy is important. Anywhere you look at this, as black markets, privacy tools, industries not served by banks or credit cards, like adult entertainment, probably you don't want to make it public. So you want to keep your Bitcoin transaction private. So you want to buy Bitcoin somewhere where you don't disclose your identity and you pay with cash. So ATMs are a good option at the moment. Next, like in a year, probably it will be some sort of the KYC, maybe a phone number. It's not going to be that good. Gift cards, like right over there. So you pay cash, you get a gift card, you scratch the QR code, scan, you get your Bitcoin. So, and you buy whatever you need, like $25, $50, $250. So small amounts. The commissions or the fees are quite high though. It can be, the minimum probably you can find is 5%, and they can go up to 20. So I know this particular gift cards are around 6-7%.
Well, rise well,
for commission, right? But yeah, when you're talking about small amounts, plus obviously you want to keep privacy.
I would say it's reasonable. Convenience never comes for free, right? If it's something convenient, most probably there is a penny that you are paying for that convenience. So
yeah,
it's not about Bitcoin, it's just about fact.
The lowest fees you pay at the centralized exchanges, but obviously you give up all your information, all your privacy. Okay. So remittances. So normally people use like Western Union or MoneyGram or something like that, and average remittance transaction is $200. And I just checked the Stat Canada. People pay 11% fee on $200 transaction. If it's $1,000, it's like something like 3-4%. So you pay less, but average transaction is $200, so you pay 11%. The thing is, with Bitcoin, it probably won't be cheaper unless you go and you buy Bitcoin on a centralized exchange, which will require you to have a bank account,
KYCs, all the stuff.
Go through the KYC process, and move your money to the exchange. You might save probably
5% about if you calculate everything.
So if you use the centralized exchange, you can do it like for 1-2%, including all the transaction fees and stuff like that. However, when you send Bitcoin to your family abroad, they will have to cash it out somehow. So on their side, it's going to be another 5-10% probably. It's not going to be cheaper. So why would you want to use Bitcoin for this particular reasons?
No other option.
Maybe you want to send the money to a sanctioned country like Iran. So there's no way you can send money there, or the country with a broken financial system like Venezuela, for example, or Zimbabwe, or like most of Africa.
And we are not talking about corner cases, to be clear. We are talking about countries with altogether probably 200-300 million of population. 300 million people is indeed in this particular zone, which is not small number.
Well, if not 3 billion actually. So.
Yeah, like cutting very, very low, yeah.
And in this particular case, privacy might not be the most important thing. So because you just buy Bitcoin and you send it out and you don't deal with Bitcoin anymore, so it's maybe it's not a concern. So you might use the centralized exchange in this particular case. it just might take longer to set up an account. It might take like sometimes a couple of weeks.
Yeah, if you are in a low season right now, it might take a day, probably. If you are in a high season, definitely weeks. Because in that time, probably everybody would like to jump because of their own reasons, and you are one of them, and you need to spend weeks or something. I can't
There
recall
were
right
some
now.
Canadian exchanges like CoinSquare and P2P. They have like instant verification.
Oh.
You just need to connect your bank account, and I
Which
don't
is
know, they
cool.
use API or whatnot. So it's quite. I don't know if it's for any amount. Maybe you need to go through extra
Probably.
KYC if you're dealing with high amounts. But right here we're talking about $200 or like $1,000. Not. So basically, you can use anything. So you can go to the ATM if you need it fast, over the counter. If you need to make it private, peer-to-peer, you need to find someone, make
Local.
an arrangement, yeah, and or centralized exchange. Okay, trading. So from my point of view, well, we're gonna be talking about only fiat to crypto. So crypto to crypto is
Not Bulgaria.
we are talking about how to buy Bitcoin if you have fiat. So, and frankly, trading of crypto on an exchange, in my opinion, it's similar to gambling. So, gambling is illegal most places. So people found crypto exchanges. The volatility is crazy. Sometimes you can use the leverage up to 100. So this is what people do.
So
Lose money. Sometimes they win. They get this dopamine.
they
hits
find
and-
cool, but there is no company in a in a blockchain cryptocurrency with like 100 years of establishment. So it's not like I buy shell options and I'm safe. No, we are talking about very mature, very immature market.
Yeah,
So-
unless you're a professional trader,
With a good luck on top of that.
I do not recommend trading at all. So, but if you're a professional trader, you probably are not watching this presentation right now. So, yeah, if you go to centralized exchange, so you lose your privacy completely. So you provide everything, your email, phone number, IDs, your address, your bank information, because you transfer your money from
And
your bank.
taxing system come to and say, hey, you made some profit. Now time to share. So basically using exchange, there is no privacy at all. You must be absolutely legal, you must be transparent for your own government. That's anything else trying to do exchange trading and try to not be transparent gonna be end up in not good something, because that's gonna be open fight against taxing system. Two things comes, this and taxing.
Yeah, and the legislation about taxes changes all the time. So, not sure about Canada, but in the United States, for every trade you do with crypto, you need to calculate taxes and pay. So even if you buy Litecoin with Bitcoin, you have to calculate your capital gains or whatnot. So it can be problematic. However, so if you use the centralized exchange, it's guaranteed you'll get the lowest fees, probably 1% if you do everything right.
If you do it small, if you trade in a huge amount, some exchanges give some discounts. They even share the profit over the stocks. So, but again, we are talking about trading in this particular case.
Yeah. So and the fees that are included there, it's a deposit fees. So you need to send dollars to an exchange. So the bank might charge you the wire transfer
They should
fees.
charge. There's no way.
Some exchanges, they charge you a deposit fee. I don't know if anyone does that still, but it was the case half a year ago. Then you have to look at the trading fees. So for every trade, they will charge you, and withdrawal fees, depending on what you're withdrawing. Fees may vary. Okay, and investing long term is something that the last reason that we're looking at. If you decide that Bitcoin is gonna replace
Money system.
the monetary system and will be the major global money in the world, so the price of one coin can go up a million, 10 million, who knows. So, but you believe in this and you decide to buy some Bitcoin and store it long term and see where it goes as a hedge against.
Absolutely. And when we say like 110 millions, it's not a joke. If right now Bitcoin replaces everything, not every available money, but let's call it cash or cash look money, 5 million is the price of that. Imagine today it's just 10k. If it's gonna make that replacement, it's 5 million. And you're gonna be on that driver of the whole world economy in your hands. Pretty cool for a long term.
So yeah, if you want to store your Bitcoin long term and you kind of expect it to go up, so probably your savings will grow in value significantly. So it's important to keep your holdings private. So don't disclose your name, don't connect your Bitcoins to your identity.
Keep your mouth shut.
You might want to look at the long-term storage options, not just like your mobile wallet, but preferably multi-signature wallet with hardware wallets. Hardware wallets and the setup is like you need 2, 3, 4 wallets to sign a transaction. This way you protect yourself from all sorts of attacks.
Absolutely.
Cyber attacks and physical attacks. And you might want to run your own node, a Bitcoin node, and different servers that, like, depending on the wallet that you are using. So it's not difficult. It just requires a little bit of knowledge, and you need to like just spend some time, set up the location. The hardware is not expensive for just any laptop will work for that thing.
Let's face it, if the person thinks that Bitcoin gonna be the only money in the world, but meantime just lazy enough to set up a node or ask professional for help, that doesn't seem unreasonable to me. If you indeed want to get that big goal, let's also act big, right?
Yeah, and depending on the amount that you want to purchase and store, so sometimes you might buy it on an exchange, centralized exchange, if it's, let's say it's up to $100,000. However, I don't recommend that because you lose your privacy. So you disclose everything and your transaction is known. So the main option for long-term investment is over the counter. So you just go, like we have a friend who she sells these things. I don't really know how much she can sell at one.
I guess if they need to talk and get a certain agreement, they can.
Yeah, so basically this is how over the counter works. You just talk over the phone, you talk with the person how much you want to buy, you agree on the price. The price is locked for a certain time. Then there are a couple of options. You might bring cash depending on the transaction, so like or you wire the money and then you get the Bitcoin. So usually in this over the counter, the commission or the fees are around 2 to 5%. 7?
3 to 7. The last days.
I saw 2%, maybe 7%. But yeah, you pay for the fixed price, and you don't have a slippage. So if you want to buy a large amount of Bitcoins on a centralized exchange, you'll get bad pricing for it.
I mean, think about that. You are doing big steps. Well, you do your precaution. You are trying to trade. Clear. There is no privacy in the trading. There should not be privacy, and you agreed on that. So, and that's with everything.
Yeah, so and this is the comparison that I looked at. So basically, let's go through everything. So the gift cards, it's not the cheapest option, 7%. However, it's the quickest. It's very private. So you pay with cash for the gift card, and then you can give it to anyone. You can use the gift card yourself.
It's a gift.
Privacy is it's complete privacy. So there's nothing is connected to your name. However, you can't buy a lot of it. I think the Rise Wallet gift cards that we have here, they have a limit of $250 per day. Well, it's good to just for the beginners, and also if you need to buy anything online. So if you want to shop with Bitcoin, so that's probably a good option, and it's very fast. So you get a card, you just scratch it, and a few minutes later you have your Bitcoin. ATMs, the cost may be higher depending on the ATM, maybe lower. So I've seen ATMs charging 5%, and I've seen like 20%. For now, it can be private, depending on what you mean by privacy. So ATMs have cameras.
They're not directly getting your name. Let's put this
Yet. Some ATMs, they collect IDs. Not all. It's not necessary right now, but I know they exist, even in Canada. And some ATMs, they use your phone number just to check that you don't exceed the daily limit. Usually, you can buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin in one transaction. However, I don't know if there is a limit on those transactions kind of in one ATM, because every time you can use a different Bitcoin address and
go.
So right now there is almost no limit, I would say, and it's also pretty fast. So you just go to ATM, you put in cash, a few minutes later you have your Bitcoin in your wallet. Centralized exchanges are the cheapest option. So you can get Bitcoin at as little as 1%, but there's no privacy. You give up your privacy completely.
Voluntarily.
Limits are pretty high, depending on the level of your KYC, how much identification you've provided. Well, I guess, and liquidity of the exchange. So it depends on how big is the exchange. Kraken in Canada, probably one of the largest, has a good liquidity. CoinSquare is smaller. If you go to like tiny exchanges like Bitwar, and there's like a bunch of them. So
on top of that, if we talk about Kraken, if I'm not mistaken, they have even option to get registered as a business with even higher limits. But again, now you need to disclose your business information and forget about any privacy possible, and remember about Canada Revenue Agency. Whatever you do, I have no privacy, and I must report to CRA. Two things.
Well, you have to report to CRA, pay your taxes. That's not the problem. The problem is that because you disclose your privacy, you are open for different sorts of attacks, cyber attacks or physical attacks. So that's the biggest problem. Decentralized exchanges. There are like a couple of them. Like Bisq is completely decentralized. It doesn't have any servers. It's non-custodial. So it's a very interesting project. So the cost can be 1% to 5% depending on an exchange. Privacy, it provides you pretty good privacy, more or less. So because Bisq allows you to pay with fiat. So we're actually looking at fiat to how to buy Bitcoin with fiat. So this is the only link when you transfer money from your bank account to the seller's bank account. However, it's not really connected. But if someone gets the seller, so they can figure out where Bitcoin went. And usually the limits are low. So especially in the very beginning when you're building your reputation, so it can be like $500 to $1,000. And also it can take from hours to days because you're sending the fiat money, and then it depends on your bank, and liquidity is quite low, so it's only a handful of offers that you can find there. Over the counter, yes, 2 to 5%, maybe 7% commission. Privacy is possible, especially right now. The new Canadian legislation, the KYC legislation,
They might
gets into effect.
They might start to ask.
Next year in July, I guess. So for now, it's still possible. And I think
there is a limit actually.
Yeah, there is a limit. So
About that,
even
they must
in a year from now, so it's still possible to buy Bitcoin privately.
Technically, any transaction over 10,000 Canadian must be reported to. Hence, the OTC provider cannot avoid that. If they are fully legit in this business, they must report, hence they must ask. And here it comes with a limit on, when I say no limits, I guess we should put lots of disclaimers around. Technically, there is no limits, though obviously those money are stored somewhere and this and that, so they're gonna be limited, depends on particular OTC provider. The theoretical limit, there is no limit.
Well, why I put here no limits? If you want to buy a huge amount of Bitcoin, well, let's say, I don't know, $100 million of Bitcoin. So over the counter is the only way you can buy. Because if you go on any exchange in the world, you'll just crush the market and no one wants it. So basically, yeah, so that's why no limits. Yeah, and it can take from hours to days, depending on, it's a negotiation, and then the fiat money transfer.
Down the road, it's face-to-face business.
So before you start buying anything, so you will need a Bitcoin wallet. I'd recommend a mobile wallet because most of the options like ATMs, OTC, over the counter, or if you go peer-to-peer, you're going to meet someone, or even the gift card. So you need a wallet on your mobile device because you will go somewhere and it's not convenient to carry your computer around. So, and I recommend the Samurai wallet. It's a privacy-oriented mobile Bitcoin wallet. So it's one of the most private wallets available. So it uses Tor. By default, it hides your IP addresses. It has several different coin joins where like it mixes coin and it makes it difficult to track your transactions online. You can use labels for UTXOs, so every time you buy a coin or receive a coin, you can label it so you know where it's coming from, and if it's a private coin or if it's from a centralized exchange. So you don't really want to mix coins in one transaction. So this is a very nice feature that they have. You can set up your own transaction fees, and it's not a very common feature, but it can help you save on fees if you are willing to wait longer. So just set up the lower fees and wait. And this wallet can work with your own Bitcoin node, and for wallets you need a server that wallet connects to, and these guys, they made it open source and you can download and install, so you can go completely private, so don't rely on anyone. So you install this wallet on your mobile device and you back up your seed right away. This is the most important thing you can do, because the seed allows you to recover your Bitcoins if you lose your phone or it's stolen. The seed is the only way you can get your Bitcoins back. So with this wallet, you go and you find an ATM like this or similar. So you can look for the ATMs. There's coinatmradar.com, and you can find like a map of ATMs in Toronto. You can click Google, find the best rate, find the best fees. Then you walk to that ATM, you open your wallet, you press the receive button, and it will show you QR code. And usually in the ATM, there's a special window where you scan this QR code. Obviously, like you probably need to press like I want to buy Bitcoin first. They'll ask you to scan your phone, and then you start feeding the cash in the ATM, and it's gonna disappear. And you hope you receive your Bitcoin, but usually you do. And a few minutes later you have Bitcoin in your wallet. That's
actually
it's a little
convenient.
intimidating the first time, but then when you try it, it's not difficult. So centralized exchanges. So if you want to go this route, I'd recommend to register completely new email, just random email, so that if someone wants to attack you, they wouldn't know which email you're using. So don't use your standard email. Just create one email that's only for this particular exchange. That's all. It's like it's another layer of security. Register new account on exchange. Add two-factor authentication. That's
They might even force it now, if it's not already.
If they don't force, select the two-factor, because this is how the exchanges get hacked and your funds can get stolen. So two-factor authentication is the app on your phone, but you also need to backup a secret, because if you lose your phone, somehow you need to recover this two-factor authentication, and you'll have like a QR code or the string of numbers. Then normally, I don't even know which exchanges don't require KYC and they deal with fiat. Like I think all exchanges that deal with fiat, they require KYC. So you will have to go through KYC, like send your IDs, proof of address, something like that. It may be quickly, like in Canada, some of the exchanges somehow they do it instantly if you connect it to your bank account. Or it may take sometimes several weeks. Then you transfer money from your bank. You can't buy Bitcoin with credit card or with PayPal, because those, well, it's difficult. So you can, but you need to build the reputation. The Coinbase was allowing customers. It still allows customers to buy with credit card, but in the United States and Canada, banks don't allow you to buy Bitcoin with credit card. But the problem with credit cards is that the transactions can be reversed easily.
Absolutely.
Because of the fraud. But the Bitcoin transactions are
irreversible.
Yeah, they're immutable. So that's why, especially if you want to sell Bitcoin, don't accept credit cards or PayPal. So only cash. So that's why you need to wire your money to an exchange, which can take several days probably, and then you can start trading. Obviously, buying Bitcoin. What you can do to anonymize your coins when you withdraw it from an exchange, like don't keep your coins on an exchange, because because they're not your coins when they're there. So unless you control the private keys yourself,
no.
You don't own the coins. And like the story with Quadriga.
Somebody might die.
Yeah.
Go on vacation and boom.
So basically, you withdraw your coins, and there is a privacy-oriented Wasabi wallet that has a trustless coin join inside the wallet, so you can mix your coins and break the traceability. The problem with this approach that it mixes small amount like 0.1 bitcoins. If you have like 10 bitcoins, for example, you'll have, what is this, 100 different outputs. So, but it depends. Like, this is what you can do. And after you mix your coins, you can send them to your hardware wallet and store them long term. Don't come by the UTXO stuff. So how over the counter works? Yeah. So this one is Spadina and Dundas in Toronto. So you can walk in, and it looks like a bank. So you pass in the cash. So yeah, basically you bring your wallet, the same thing. You press a receive button.
You get the QR code.
Obviously, first you need to find a location. You look for the price. You may call and you may negotiate, and you may lock the price that you want to buy your Bitcoin with. And you negotiate the fees. You bring cash, this particular location. Then you show your wallet address, like usually it's a QR code.
Transfer
Then she's gonna scan your wallet, send you Bitcoins, and if you trust the person, so you just see that the transaction is there, you can go. If you don't trust the person, you have to wait at least for one confirmation until the transaction is included in the next block, so probably 10 minutes. And it also depends on how much you buy.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So usually when you're buying over the counter, the entire transaction and your coins are not connected to your identity. So it's a big plus. So don't combine your coins, like the private coins, with the coins that you bought from a centralized exchange, for example, because you will de-anonymize them, and it's not a good idea. Well, and if you want to buy a larger amount, so this is probably up to 100K, I guess. If you want to buy a larger amount, like $1 million or $10 million worth of Bitcoin, so you need to find an OTC desk and do a longer negotiation, maybe sign up a contract, do a wire transfer. So, but the idea is the same. So the difference is you don't carry the cash in the suitcase. Just use the wire transfer.
That will be fun.
Okay, so the gift cards. Gift cards are easy to use, so we have them right here. So how it works, you just buy a gift card. For this particular Rice Wallet gift card, you download their own application, their own wallet. I like their design, so they're kind of, until you back up your seed phrase, they will just
refuse.
So that you won't have half of the functions, but also every time you open it will like flash red. And you remember to back up your seed phrase, because the seed phrase is the only way how you can recover your Bitcoins if you lose your wallet. So it works pretty easy. Download Rice Wallet, scan the gift card, back up the seed phrase, scan gift card, receive your coins within seconds, basically.
And doesn't matter that it is in a Rice Wallet or somewhere, then you can use your Bitcoin. Doesn't matter what, it's yours.
Yeah, so you can send it from the Rice Wallet to your Samurai Wallet if you prefer. There are this kind of things as decentralized exchanges. So this is the hardcore decentralized exchange. So there's no centralized servers, there's no custodials. They use multi-signature addresses for trading. So basically, you download an application and install on your computer. It works like BitTorrent. So you run the entire thing inside on your machine, on your computer, so that it doesn't connect with any servers whatsoever. And inside this exchange, you don't see a book. So you see the list of offers. Someone's offering 0.1 Bitcoin at $10,000 per coin. So you can only agree to buy the entire amount. And then when you agree, so you look what they offer and
What you want?
and what they want, basically. On the other hand, if you don't see the offer that you like, you can place your own offer. So if you want to buy Bitcoins, you place your offer that you want to buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin or $500 worth of Bitcoin at this particular price, and someone may just accept your offer. That's all. So the Bisq allows you to trade with fiat, which is very, very interesting. So how it works, the seller sends Bitcoin into the multi-sig address, which requires 2 signatures out of 3. So when you buy, you agree with the seller that you send the fiat money through the e-transfer, PayPal, or whatever, or you meet them in person and give them cash. And so when you send the money, you sign the address, the transaction with your signature, and at the moment when the seller receives the money, they would sign the transaction. So then there are 2 signatures. If they decide not to sign for whatever reason, then you can find an arbiter, a third person that will investigate this particular situation, if you send the money and all the stuff, and they would have the third signature. It's not the perfect solution, but to create everything decentralized, so this is the only way to go. In order for you to use Bisq, you need to have Bitcoin, because they use Bitcoin as a collateral when you start trading. So you can't start using Bisq without any Bitcoin. So just use the gift card or the ATM to buy some Bitcoin so that you can use it this particular exchange. So, and as I mentioned, there is an offer book. It's just like a Craigslist. People post their ads and selling this much Bitcoin at that price. So you cannot buy half of this. So you need to buy the entire thing. And it's completely private. It uses Tor. It doesn't show anything. The only thing that is connected to your identity is your bank information if you send the wire transfer or e-transfer or whatnot. And liquidity is low on such exchanges, so you might find a handful of offers, maybe, if you're lucky. But if you don't find anything, you can place your own offer and hope that someone will find it. So and another exchange that's like peer-to-peer exchange, it's called the HodlHodl. So those guys, maybe I should talk about. Let's talk about LocalBitcoins. They are the oldest ones, and they've been out there for, I don't know, 6-7 years. So basically it's the same idea. So you place your offers, it's sort of the Craigslist, and then you find people in the area that's selling Bitcoin. You can see, well, I checked today and there are 89 offers in Canada. Basically, you can buy with Canadian dollars, 89 offers, and some are offering from like $100, and there's one guy up to 57,000 Canadian dollars. So all sorts of different offers and all sorts of payment methods like PayPal, Western Union, wire transfer, Interac e-transfer. So the problem with LocalBitcoins is that, first of all, it's a custodial exchange. So there's a central party, so they have a server, they have a website, and plus also if you want to sell your Bitcoins, you send Bitcoins to their address. And if they decide, they can freeze your coins. They might not release your coins at all. for whatever reason.
I'm really glad to see the names of the seller. Actually, they're giving pretty good understanding of why people might want to and what purpose they might leverage Bitcoin for. Like, pretty obvious, Jefferson Lopez, ETC Columbia, pretty obviously, Africa Trader.
Yeah, so and the second thing about local Bitcoins is that they're enforcing KYC if you're a seller. If you sell Bitcoin, if you want to place your ads,
They're surely KYC.
yeah. So you need to go through KYC. However, because it's the largest exchange, peer-to-peer exchange, it has the best liquidity on those peer-to-peer exchanges. So HodlHodl is the kind of in between. So they're non-custodial. However, they have the central server where you place all your offers, but they're using the multi-sig address for the Bitcoin that you're selling. So kind of the same idea as Bisq. However, they use the centralized server and the service to place all the offers.
As a trade processor, but not the actual processor.
Yeah, so the liquidity is low. I checked today. There's if you want to buy Bitcoins, there's only one offer on this platform. If you want to sell Bitcoins, there are like 4 people that are willing to buy different prices. The spread is kind of huge, from 11,000 to 10,600. So HodlHodl has actually Lightning, so you can sell Bitcoin on Lightning through HodlHodl, and you keep your privacy. So except when you transact with fiat, when you send the same thing as on Bisq. Wow, and they have problems with liquidity. Yeah. So we are at the end, and as usual, remember when you set up any wallet, the first thing you do, you back up your seed before you transfer any Bitcoins in your wallet. So just back up your seed, write it on a paper, and keep it in a safe place. Never keep your coins on an exchange unless you're actively trading, and don't disclose your addresses. So don't connect your identity to your Bitcoin addresses, and educate yourself about cybersecurity and Bitcoin security. Yeah, that's about it. So you guys have questions?
Go ahead. Mike is there for you.
Go first. You guys have questions? Okay.
Offline, online, everybody.
Yeah. Good Mike. Oops. Is it okay? I turned it off.
Oh. Yeah, the 2 questions. One is about taxes, and the other one is about being private. As far as I can remember, that cryptocurrencies are not considered currency as yet by the government. So how could they be looking to collect taxes on something that is not even legal tender?
Some cryptocurrencies considered as assets. Hence, everything that you trade with an asset is subject of taxation.
Well, plus it's an ongoing process. The laws being changed every day, so you have to just follow.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. Like, as far as I know, the law has not been changed yet to recognize cryptocurrency as legal tender. So even if I trade and I make money trading cryptos, the only time the government can look forward to taxes is if I the profit I make, I transfer it into fiat. Then it becomes legal tender. So until it stays, as long as it stays into cryptocurrency, they can't come knocking on the door, as far as I understand.
Well, I can give you advice on taxation. I'm not an accountant or anything, and I didn't prepare anything about taxes for this particular presentation.
Right.
We are talking about how to buy Bitcoin,
Right.
not how to tax.
Okay,
and,
so-
and I wouldn't
Right, so,
give you advice
yeah.
on taxation.
Yeah, I just,
find a
I just,
professional.
it was just,
No idea.
yeah, I just wanted to point out that the next thing is privacy, right? So if you transfer fiat currency from, let's say, a bank account to an exchange, and then you buy cryptocurrency with that, right? Isn't it possible to, if I want to lose my footprint, all right? Can't I then buy those privacy coins, like Monero?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say I buy 12 Bitcoins, transfer it to Monero, and then the trail is broken there, and then I can, from Monero, buy any other cryptocurrency, or I can take my fiat, buy Monero, and then buy any other currency, and I lose the paper trail.
But where are you going to exchange Monero to Bitcoin?
Okay, there is something else also.
Pardon?
There is something else also. What you are trying to do called layering, and based on AML, and when you trade on exchange, it's AML requirements. You are falling on that AML trap, and you might get reported. Because what you are trying to do called layering. In anti-money laundering scheme, it's not very good. So unless you are doing, and you can prove that you are doing honest trades against different cryptocurrencies, you might want to think a couple of times before going in the layers. Okay?
Well, right now it's still possible, but the trend is that the government pushes all the exchanges to go to do the KYC, even if the exchange doesn't work with fiat currencies. Especially like when the Binance stopped working in the United States, and Binance doesn't deal with fiat at all. So, but as of this moment, what you can do, you can buy any crypto. You can buy Bitcoin, so it doesn't matter. You just need to send your Bitcoin to an exchange without KYC, which is crypto to crypto, to Binance, for example. Then you exchange it there, and then you withdraw. You don't have to exchange. You just send Bitcoin,
Somewhere else.
withdraw Bitcoin, because you're gonna withdraw it from a different address.
Right.
And that's so exchange in itself is just like a huge mixer. So, however, exchange has your information. If someone gets there, if government
With order.
gets to the Binance exchange or any other exchange, which is
Don't play
improbable.
with government.
Right now, it depends on which country they exchange in, but I mean, the trace is still there. It's still possible. It doesn't disappear. If you use the Wasabi wallet, it mixes everything in a decentralized manner, and it doesn't store information. So you see all the mixes on the blockchain, but it's like 100 inputs, 100 outputs, and
So
Good luck figuring that out.
So Wasabi is the best option for losing that.
Wasabi is the best option. Yeah.
Just another disclaimer. So imagine there is a person on the street with face covered in a mask, with dark glasses, with a Macintosh to its feet. Question: does that person protect its security and privacy or not? I guess the whole street will just staring at that person with that interesting outfit, right? So just make sure whatever you do to protect your privacy are not actually the way how to lose your privacy. Okay? So it's a trade, kind of. Question, guys? Questions? And thanks a lot for questions, though. Thank you. Go ahead. Don't be scared about asking question. Absolute any question is welcomed. Do you have anything online?
No. Chris, I don't think we are live, actually.
Okay. Not on Twitch.
No. If you are offline, that's fine. We're already offline.
No questions. Okay, short announcement for the next Tuesday. The topic is what happens to your Bitcoin when you die. How do you set up a system to
Or
pass on your Bitcoins to your
in a sweeter word,
children? Or,
plan your inheritance.
yeah, how to plan your inheritance. That's
for
not
next
a
week.
trivial problem, by the way.
Oh, that's actually deep problem and it needs holistic view. Meantime, with attention to any details. It's a big problem.
That sounds to me like a very easy problem to solve.
It's an easy problem to solve.
Keep that in mind, and you are more than welcome for next week, and we're gonna discuss about that.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Well, since there are no questions, we can wrap up and continue
Offline.
our unofficial part with, I think there's still pizza and Coke.
And even Coke. Cool. Thanks a lot everybody online, offline, in a studio, with us just in their mind. And see you next week.